Okay, girls, in this, I would call it video. It's just a little mini inspired documentary. Darlene, Marianne, Melissa, Isabel, and Isabella. We will take the listener through a blueprint on the plot to topple America, topple the US dollar, and to pull one of the biggest land grab in history on the billionaire, the millionaire. And the middle class men will be thrown in prison for the least little hiccup. Maybe a speeding ticket could run 25 years. Everything in this video has to do with 25. And the reason the middle class man will be taken from his home and tossed into prison, this will open spaces for Kamala Harris's border men to take control of these homes that already have a woman living in. Yeah. So the question is, will the US dollar survive? If not, countries globally will have to rise up and take control of their own individual currencies. Globally, we will seek to return the US dollar, use our local currency, expel all the embassies, including the US embassies, because they're obsolete, they're unnecessary, and take control of our own destiny. And I believe this is essential in the hope of ending global poverty and global hunger. The trouble that the US dollar costs is not worth the value. It might be time for us to move on and say our goodbyes. Yeah, it's not worth the trouble. The human cost is too much. And this is the shocker and the disrespect of the US dollar is when a failed administration is in the line to be re-elected and return to the US, the White House, to continue the destruction. Already the US dollar is dead. I think putting the Democrat failed situation, if they would win, returning them to the White House is like cremating the US dollar. It's not only burying the US dollar, that is what we would call an official cremation of the US dollar. Globally, we have to walk away. We have to walk away. The only person that can help the situation in terms of balancing the situation with the US dollar is Mr. Trump, and 4 years It's not enough time to fix it. But what he can probably do in 4 years is to kind of start the road to perfection, guide it back to a balanced situation or some value. The US has nothing to offer anyone, no manufacturing, no tourism. I mean, no one wants to go to New York. One of the best places to go if you're a tourist, one of the best things to do is wander around at night in Manhattan with the lights and all these kind of stuff. You can't do that because of crime, human shit on the street. I mean, the crime, people are disappearing. It's dangerous. So somebody should tell me why the US dollar should continue to be the global trading currency. And if Miss Harris would return to the White House, it's game over. We will lobby to end the global relationship, and every country will go back and use their own currency because each country around the world has its own currency. No one really needs to use the US dollar, which is a fact. Project 2025. Harris and Obama's brainchild. Project 2025. Harris and Obama's brainchild. Welcome to the 1920s dating experience. It's my house, and I am the lovely Dr. Barr. Darlene, Marianne, Melissa, Isabella, and Isabel. Welcome, girls. Our financial report today. Today's topic is inflation, the war, and how it affects the value of the dollar based on our financial experience as shoppers. Of course, our dollar is valued today 10 cents. Now, I would appeal to the hedge funds, the financial enthusiasts. Hi, our financial report with Jason. Today we will address the integrity of the US dollars, as he pointed out that the health of the US dollars does not wager only on the buying, bartering, exchange, but the weight integrity of the dollar. Yeah, and this video will base primarily on the the dollar, the cash, personal wealth, your money, and the trustworthiness. That is the definition, really, of integrity. It comes with trust, respect. These, it's the underlining fundamentals of what give value to anything, your company, you as a person. Can we trust your word? Can we trust what you say? If you say yes, does it mean yes or it's an expired no? All kinds of things comes into integrity. Because yes without action is an expired no. It's a nice, it's a no, it's a very, it's a no. So when one campaigns and they promise a lot of things and it's not executed, it's like a nice no, Yes, I'll do this, yes, I'll do that, but it's not executed. Is it so that it's not executed because of lack of knowledge, lack of education? As we get into the video, you will understand where we're going with this. And the dog we have in the fight is cash. Cash. The dog we have in the fight is the US dollar, as we represent the finding a solution for global poverty and to seek to end global hunger and to seek to end global hunger. Hi girls, in this video we will show globally the craftsmanship in Harris's plan and how she will go about toppling America and the US dollar with the reintroduction of her failed administration. Part 1. Hi girls. Based on what Jose has this breaking news, because he found a blueprint for this Project 25 that they tried to accuse Donald Trump of being responsible for. Instead, it's good old Miss Harris. It's her project, along with Obama's. As the homeless guy said, that we should gear ourselves up and prepare ourselves because Mr. Obama is gearing up to take control of the White House if Harris wins. Yes, and he said that good old Tim will be moving very slowly, like Mr. Biden, because he's going to be in the way of the black widows. That was his word. He used the word black widows, right? He said Tim is going to be in the way. He's going to become useless. And he has served his purpose. And so he will be in the way of the black widows and will be given the same protocol as Joe Biden. Okay, understood. Anyways, this project, this 25,000 is it? $25,000 that she's going to be given to single women. She's going to lure and encourage single women to partake of this loan to become homeowners. And then her strategy will become she will retain the master key because it's going to be some kind of government loan situation. But initially, they will have a misunderstanding that it's a gift. And so she will encourage single women to partake. They will then partake. Upon buying their house, they will be visited by somebody that will introduce themselves as their husband. Apparently, the Syrian guy told that in Syria, the speech that was given to them they would come and they should not worry about anything because they are going to be given a key, a marriage certificate, and they will go to homes of single women and they will be automatically married, and their job is to have babies or not, whatever they want to do. So I guess this abortion protocol that she's trying to introduce will come handy because these boys will be raping these women that did not approve of their visits. But the guy also said, what you going to do once you rape, you rape. You can't unrape yourself. So what? He said. They put me in prison for 2 days, they release me, and I go back and rape again. That's what he said. Okay, that makes sense. That's what he said the culture of this rape mentality is. That's how the guys think. That's how they think. So when I asked him what would be a reasonable punishment for rapists, because as I was saying to the girls when I did that James interview about prisoners, I wanted to get into the mind of people who have a flexible situation. They've been on fences and so many different things in their life. And since he's telling me about rape culture and mentality, I asked him what would be the ideal punishment for a rapist. And he said he can't see one because it's very circumstantial, he said. And I said, define that. And he said, for one thing, he has not raped anyone, but his friends and all of that. He said, one should understand that they came to us and they lure us from our homes to come, and we were encouraged, young men, single men, they said single men. We were encouraged to come, and we're at the childbearing age. We're at the age where we get extra horny, we need a wife, we need all of that. And we were told we would get a wife. We were told we would get a key to a house. We would get a certificate. We would get an address to go to, and we will have an automatical wife living there. And I said to him, but seriously, did you believe that that kind of thing exists? And he said, at first he was thinking it was too good to be true, but since they're so in charge, because it was the president and the vice president that was telling them, even though he was a former president, he still has power. And so they say, okay, they know what they're talking about, and they were convinced that it would happen. So they came on their own without a girl, without a wife. So he said, do you see the situation? That is circumstantial. And I said, yes. I had to say yes. I couldn't say anything else because to price an 18-year-old to 30, even 35, 40 from their homes, but I didn't see a real 35-year-old. I think they were all under 30, I believe. I don't know. They actually look young. Well, anyways, they said they were over 30 and they're too old to settle anywhere. They want some of them, but majority of them look under 30, I have to say. And when they argue that they're there without a wife and what they're supposed to do, I couldn't say anything. I had to listen. So, okay, so the punishment, he said, should be based on the circumstances. Okay, that makes sense. So then I am in limbo once again with rapists because I don't know how to argue about a rapist's punishment. You see what I mean? So yeah, because he made a point that it's not standard, it's circumstantial. And the case was argued on the border case. Um, and truly, they all said what happened to women at night is shocking. It's totally shocking. Okay, so moving forward. Yeah, so Harris promised to allocate 50,000 US dollars for small businesses. So this actually is linked to the single woman buying a house. Do you understand? Because she is going to have to pay rent to the government. She will never own this house because she will never be given the master key or the title of this house. So it's almost like a lifetime lease she will be given, and I'm not sure if the payment is going to be straight to the government or it's going to be a street payment, street rent as they call it, or your house will burn down or something. Okay, I guess in that regard we go fishing, or that is yet to be seen because it's not mentioned in the Project 25 that Jose is looking at, because I asked him and he said that is not clear on the document. Okay, but in the 50 grand that she will be allocating to these to these people to start their home, to start their business, sorry. So it's 25,000 for the single woman for the house and 50 for the small business. Let's be clear. Okay, so now the 50 is for the same set of people here. And Harris said that in the next 4 years, when she's out of office, she says, she will be, she wants to have on record 25 million small businesses. That means that's the amount of immigrants she will allow into the country, at least on record for that project, because these single women will be given a husband by force. The marriage certificate will say, this is your husband. And so they will be given priority to apply for this money for small business. That is what the document says, what Jose said. And they will have to pay street rent. It says on that Harris will be asking for monies for street rent on these businesses, or they will become a fire visit. She will burn the place down if they don't pay every month. Okay. And that is 2025. Okay, here we have on the chopping block, we mentioned that she has 300,000 students scheduled for identity switch, and they will need cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, and they will need genitalia surgery. And this could run anything from $20,000 to $25,000 or more. She wants the government to pay up to $25,000 to $30,000 to a person who wishes to do this whatever surgery, gender surgery, whatever it's a package. She wants the government to pay for it. Now, once again, it's 25. So you can see this 25, Project 25 that she's saying is Trump's project, which is not. So what she's trying to do is, by planting this seed in the mind of everyone, if it started coming to fruition when she's in there, if she goes in, then it will become like, oh, it was Trump's idea. And maybe she's overwhelmed and cannot stop the bus because he implemented it. But that's not so. This is Harris's project. Yeah, and the 2025, if you notice, everything is 25 because the house loan, the 50,000 is 25 each per household. The 25 grand for the single woman buying a house, and then the 25 to 30,000 for the gender reassignment project for each person. Whether you're in prison, it doesn't matter where, but you will be given this. And part of this project, apparently, there will be the 300,000 students that's up for switch. Whether they're in or not, if the bill is passed, they could still kidnap these students one by one, and the bill would have to still pay for this surgery as long as it goes through and it's approved. You see where we're going now? So everything on this bill has something 25 in it. And these 300,000 people, she will give them the same protocol from what Jose says and the Jamaicans said what happened to Kamala Harris. And I must tell you, Miss Harris, the Jamaicans said that the Jamaicans are waiting for a DNA test because the Jamaicans would like to know what happened to Kamala Harris. Because Kamala Harris was tall, smaller feet. She did not have brown eyes. She did not have black eyes. Okay? And she was not wearing contacts. It was her natural eyes, but they're not going to tell you the color of the eyes or the color of her race. And she was not Indian. She was not black. And she's a Jamaican. Okay? And her neck was not vibrating. She did not have a shaved Adam's apple. What have you done with Kamala Harris? And she certainly did not have size 13 feet and big hands and no waist. You can ignore it all you want, but I think the American people need to hear this before they vote. The Syrian said, "You are a con artist from Syria." That's what they say. And the longer they're at the border, the more they will speak. They say you are a con artist from Syria, brought to America by Rainbow Push, Jesse Jackson's NGO. You transform yourself into Kamala Harris and brutally murder her. She's missing since 2005, and suddenly you appear talking about, oh, I have prosecuted Trent, whatever, and I have done this, and I went to Howard. Well, if you've been to Howard, I think Howard should take their degree or whatever from you because you have not been to Howard. Kamala Harris went to Howard, not you, and you have not prosecuted anybody. And you continue to call Mr. Trump villain and all kinds of names and even the Jamaicans, they say that you have no idea about Jamaica because you said that your grandparents came from Spanish Town and your grandparents, they were like black. They're not black. And you said that your mother sat in some corner with a cup of tea in some cup and drinking and looking at the bills and could not pay it. And every time you speak of your mother, you disrespect your father or you disrespect the Jamaican man. That's what they say. So your mother was the only one taking care of you. Your father, in all his glory, he's an elite, and he did not give your mother a penny because you were so destitute. You had to go and work at McDonald's at 13, and you live over a daycare center that your mother scraped to pay the bills. Sometimes she couldn't pay it, and the lady had to give her allowance, and the lady had to help you to raise you guys because she had to go to work and nobody could take care of you guys and it goes on. Do you understand who the Harrises are? They are very public, respectful Jamaican family. That's what the Jamaicans said, and they need an apology from you and a DNA test. You're not going to get away with it. That's what they say. Mr. Harris should retire in peace and have his self respect. Just like you destroy Mr. Biden's reputation, you have done it to your own father, and the next bus stop is Tim. That's what the homeless guy said. When you're done with Master Tim, he will not believe his luck. Okay? So he's asking Timmy Boy, proceed with great caution. Now, seriously, Miss Harris, the Jamaicans, they say you're a wicked, evil woman. Not only have you killed all those people at the border, you have done some things to the Harris family and the reputation of the Jamaican man that basically he's a deadbeat dad. And it was only when you're a teenager your mother scraped some monies together to buy a house that has a lawn. Really, Miss Harris? Really? If you see the houses that the Harrises own, you probably would pass out. I'm not even being funny. They're elites. They are elites. So I am not sure, as they say, who took that yellow bus. They're not sure who worked at McDonald's and who lived over the daycare center that could not pay the rent sometimes. I think you are unimaginably cruel. That's what they say. And this Jamaican guy, he said that he represents the United Nation of Jamaica. And when it is necessary, Jamaicans unite and they are one. And he said, in honor of his three friends that lost their life between Mexico and the border, and Kamala Harris, he will be telling everybody this story so you can ignore it all you want. Jamaicans are asking for a DNA test, and the Syrian said, you are a man, you were born a man in Syria, and that's why you're so passionate about trying to get all these benefits for transformation of genders and all these things. And he said you committed a lot of crimes in Syria. You were just attracted to crimes. And he knows where you live, he knows all your brothers and sisters. But every time you open your mouth, you disrespect your father and you disrespect the honor of the Jamaican man, he said. The Jamaican. Because what you're telling the world is that your mother had to do all that because the deadbeat Jamaican man did not take care of you. Oh, Miss Harris, you should apologize to your father. You should apologize to the nation of Jamaica. And they're asking for a DNA test, and you're not going to get away with it. You will produce this DNA test, Miss Harris, because you're not Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was a public figure. She grew up in the public eye. Everyone knows what Kamala Harris looks like. So you have chosen the wrong girl and the wrong country. And those pictures that are being shown on the internet about you being with your grandmother and you went to Spanish Town to see your grandmother. Spanish Town, they're not from Spanish Town, Miss Harris. I don't know where in Spanish Town you found your grandmother, who apparently died 4 years before you were born. The lady you visit, so I don't know, Miss Harris, maybe, just maybe, you might need to check yourself into Walter Reed. Hmm? And sometimes it's okay. Your Syrian brother said, you have conned the nation. You got away with it. You wind up as a VP, but you got greedy. And before you walk away, because you know you're not qualified, you know you're not qualified, but greed, that's why it's called one of the seven deadly sins. Greed, that will become you. I rest my case. Part 2. So we had to go there, the girls and myself. Now the question was to the Syrian guy and the homeless guy and even Jose, because he has these files. Why do you think Harris and Obama are so intertwined? What is the deal with them? Okay, the Syrian guy told me that they're two brothers from Syria. Okay, they were both in and out of prison in Syria. Okay, so I asked the homeless guys, because he's been working with them since 2008. I said, what's the deal on this? And he said that Jose's concept and the Jamaican concept, and to a lesser extent the Syrian concept, in terms of when they arrive in America, and Harris was a stalker, and she stalked Kamala Harris until she subsequently killed her and stole her identity. That's a shocker. And then transform herself into a girl. Of course, she's not looking like a girl. She looked more like Frankenstein on steroids in terms of all the plastic surgery scars and stuff, but wow. So they are brothers from Syria. So, so the Syrian told me that they were always conning people in Syria, in and out of prison. And apparently, when they both arrive in Syria, the slogan was "From refugee camp to the White House," because they left prison, run away to the refugee camps, got sponsored by Rainbow Push, entered America, and then the rest, as they say, is a nightmare. They are kamikaze, and they are programmed and designed to topple America and to topple the US dollar. Brilliant, huh? Wonderful. Uh, Mr. Jackson, you have outdone yourself, because the homeless guy said that you have gotten away with so much since the 1960s, and you too got greedy. And that's why greed is one of the seven deadly sins, and it will become you. You're a very angry old man, and it's ugly. That's what the homeless guy said. The Syrian said that they would walk the streets of Syria with the Air Force Two parked at the airport, issuing out $100 bills to everyone, and they thought Obama was God. There's no other way to explain it. He was given the God status. And when they arrive at the border to see the hell, and when they discovered that in America there are two parasites, they were in shock. He said when he escaped and contacted his family home and told about the hell and the carnage, and that they're parasites, they told all kinds of lies, they hustled the White House. It's a shock. It's a shock. And he said he would advise them to stay out of Dodge. Yeah, that's a good gossip, eh? Yes, Miss Harris, I would advise you, based on these border guys, they say to tell you that they can't recall Mr. Trump inviting or paying them and luring them from their family to come to the border to face their death And they're advising you, whatever you do on the campaign, to keep the border out of your mouth. Because the more you mention the border, the more everybody knows that you're a serial liar, you're a con artist, because you look in the screen right dead on in the camera and you told the nation that you're on your way to the White House. And if elected, you will implement all these things. So what have you done with the documents, Miss Harris? Did you use it in your bathroom or something? Because I'm sure you saw the documents already on your desk. That you're trying to say, Mr. Trump, block all these things that you were trying to pass. You said that you want to employ 1,500 more border police. You want to lobby to get some machine to detect drugs and put it at the border. Why not close the border, Miss Harris? That money could go to build houses for the veteran that you're going to use to do that. If you close the border, then you'll have enough security personnel. Close the border and build the wall. That's all you need to do. But you looked in the camera, apparently, and you told the nation that you're not doing nothing of the sorts because you plan to give 25 million people, boys, single men, a wife, and local businesses. So you need more to come through. Well, some will disappear in the bus situation because you need to, logistically, you have to maintain the bones for the dental industry. So you will shuffle based on rank, I guess, and pecking order, so to speak. I can understand that you hopping up and down the staircase of Air Force One and your life is cushy and it's great. Everyone would love to have it. And I can understand that you'll do everything in your powers to keep it, even humiliate yourself. But even the billionaire, Miss Harris, will not be happy when their dollar turn into 5 cents and they scratch like hell to keep into even when they plunge from billionaire and they barely, maybe if they're lucky, they'll be a millionaire, but they will sit quite easily in a middle class status because what I learned is since you say you grew up as a middle class, how can you transcend someone into a millionaire standard? Because all you know is middle class. So there's no possibility for anyone under your ruling to become a millionaire. You said you'll tax the hell out of the millionaire and the billionaire. And you will ensure that you protect the middle class. But anyone would tell you, Miss Harris, based on what Jose says, and I and everyone can see it except you, that the middle class are supported by the billionaires and the millionaires because they provide the companies that employ the middle class. So if you destroy the middle class, the billionaire and the millionaire, Because you say you'll tax the hell out of them. How would you get access to their cash unless you will do a land grab on them, which you're clearly declaring to the middle class, to the billionaire and the millionaire, that you're going to land grab their property, because you declare that you will tax the daylights out of them. How will you get access to their money unless you're going to grab their asset, land grab? Plus, you said that you want to work well with the companies. These people are the owners of these companies. So the logics that you give doesn't make sense, because if you destroy the billionaire and the millionaire, these companies that employ the middle class will timber, and the middle class will plunge into destitution. So you have just described a global catastrophe. And where stand the US dollar? Because globally, the US dollar will not have any legs. And I represent the US dollar, Miss Harris. And I don't see how the US dollar can move forward under your administration. You have a failed administration. You're operating an NGO. That's the best I can describe it as. And that's what you've been doing. And then if you go in there, as you say, you're on your way to the White House, you will convert the White House into an NGO. Yeah. I mean, you were vice NGO. Now you're going to become full NGO, because you're not going to be president. You're going to be full NGO, I guess. It's a mess, Miss Harris. I think you should resign and get on the wings of a snow white dove. I don't know. You need to pray for yourself, and you need to pray and get all that demon out of you, because you have a lot of blood on your hand, right? And as I was saying to these guys, and the Jamaican, he's a man, and I must tell you, they're good men. He said, you're not going to get away with disrespecting the Jamaican man. In general, he said, many in general, but in this case, he is talking about what you've done to the, the nation of Jamaica. Because he said that Jamaicans were minding their own business when you took on this fascination and obsession that you're a Jamaican, to the point where you kill a Jamaican, stole her identity, and now we're calling for a DNA test, he said. And he said you should take him to court. If he is telling a lie on you, he said, you tell Harris, take me to court. He dared you, Miss Harris. Take him to court, he said. He said if it's a mistake, he's willing to stand the consequences. Take him to court. But he's going to defend his country and the honor of the Jamaican man. And you are asked for a DNA test. Take him to court is even perfect. You'll have to do the DNA test. Yes, so he's waiting for you to take him to court. And the American people need to know that you're a big, fat, lying con artist from Syria. Yeah, the Syrians said so. The Jamaicans are convinced that you're from Syria as well. And you're unable to read, write, and the things you say It's almost like you have a permanent worm living in your head. And you should check yourself into Walter Reed and get some medication. Okay? Girls, in Harris's last television interview, where the lady asked her how she will find the resources to finance her basically Project 2025, because everything says 25, from the 25,000 for the house, for the 25 times 2 for the businesses, which is 50. 2025, she said she will tax the daylights out of the billionaire and the millionaires. Well, clearly she's saying to them that, look out, guys, the land grabbing is coming, because that's the only way she will get that kind of direct access to them. Then, in her speech, she says that she will have a good relationship with the business owners, and she will protect the middle class. That's a conflict of interest right there, because she will destroy the millionaire and the billionaire. And these companies that provide employment for the middle class will be toppled. And so the middle class will be jobless, homeless, and plunge into beyond poverty, which is destitution. So right there, Miss Harris has just declared to the nation, globally actually, her plan to topple America and to topple the US dollar, because there's no way moving forward. Globally, we can see that the US dollar will be able to be the global trading currency. Under this situation, the US dollar will not have legs. And I can appeal to the billionaires and the millionaires that are encouraging this catastrophe. It's not fun when you lose your box, and it is even worse when you cannot recover because of the devastation. There's no trading, there's nothing to recover. A billionaire will be lucky if the dollar plunged to 5 cents. A billionaire will be lucky if they're sitting in a millionaire's chair at the end of the day. And the millionaire will be sitting on the head of poverty. It's not a joke. So all the people who are encouraging this disaster, and to be honest, I think the only practical solution is a failed administration should not be eligible to be in the running up to an election. There should be a fresh situation. To be fair, Mr. Trump did a good thing with his 2016 administration, so he would be eligible to go up against a fresh group of people to compete for the White House. I don't think a failed administration is eligible to run for any kind of seat. It's an automatic eject button. That's it. It's a failed administration. I don't know what. It's a joke. Part 3. So the 300,000 college students that are going up, that are scheduled for identity reassignment, like what Harris has been through, they will then steal the identity of the college student, turn up at the graduation and collect the diploma and make a run for it basically. And so Harris trying to pass this bill to get the government to pay for student loan up to 25 to $30,000. It's all connected, eh? Everything she does has some kind of meaning, right? And it has to do with 25. See? So these people that will steal the identity, and Jose, you said that the colleges will need to include a DNA test against the student's family at the beginning of the course and a new one at the end of the course for them to be able to collect their diploma or to be able to graduate, for the student, for the university to be sure that this person is the person who entered the university and is the same person that will leave the university. It has to be done that way because a lot of people are gone missing and they are switched. And he said the family, they're more or less in shock because these new people, they want nothing to do with their family and they're usually very disrespectful, like Kamala Harris, how she's disrespectful to her father and the Harris family. The plastic surgeon that I have interviewed, girls, told us identity switch. It's only the chin definition implants, the cheek and the inner eye and the nose and the forehead lined up to the eyebrow comes around. The side profile when they sit. If you're suspicious, you should wait until when they're laughing, you look at their side profile. Even when they're serious, and you will see the original person in their side profile because the identity surgery cannot correct smile. It can only help them to look like the person to whom they have stolen the identity from on straight and serious. They have to remain serious and straight ahead. The side profile, the smile profile, it is going to be the original person. So take a look at her. You can see that her side profile is different from her full on frontal profile. And you can see it's a man. I can only imagine the hell. The Jamaicans said they need a moment of silence for their girl Kamala Harris because they can just imagine the hell that poor girl went through because Jose said it's a very light cream color, light water, boiling water they stick you in and get all your skin off and fillet you for the bones, right? And I hope to God they put her to sleep before they did that. That's all I have to say because We're in shock. Of course, what the Jamaicans said and the Syrian and all of us thinking the hell Kamala went through. I mean, this is a girl that grew up with the very best. I think that probably sent her into a shock what happened to her. Even someone, if they had grown up with the worst of things, would have gone through shock. This is the kind of evil. And the Jamaicans, now everyone are asking for DNA tests. They are asking for a DNA test. I hope the American people will hear this, or people in general will hear this. This is evil what you've done to this woman. Never mind what you've done to those people at the border. I guess you thought you'd be admired and loved. But on the contrary, the border people, they think you're an evil person. No one likes you. Hi, girls. I asked the homeless guy about this abortion ice cream inspired truck in New York City at night. It's going around. And I asked if it was true, and he said that it's for the undocumented. They also have a dental, and they have a that perform dental service, and they have one that do general practice. So it's three inspired ice cream hospital trucks that goes around at night, and the service is free. And I said, but to have one designated for abortion, I've never seen so many pregnant people. And he said that these immigrants, they cannot stop having sex. Yeah. And these women, they have no idea who these guys are. So the best solution, I suppose, is to have the abortion. Okay. So because I promised everyone that I would investigate and I would get some information on the situation. So I think then this is enough information. Right, girls? What do you think? I think it's kind of, I don't know. Anyways, I also asked, we asked him, the homeless guy, about, he said that Obama is unable to read and write. So we asked him, what about those fancy qualifications that he has, that he was just reading off his tongue? He's from Columbia, he studied there, and of course he thought Hamilton Hall was a street in Canada, and one asked the question if he did study at Columbia, and he did not know that it's Hall. When it was mentioned, Hamilton Hall, he thought it was a street in Canada. And I thought, like, okay. And the homeless guy said apparently the way to identify if somebody is telling a lie about their qualification, when somebody just gets straight A's, he got all A's, he was president of Legal Aid, he was all kinds of stuff where he provided free legal services for the community, and put that on his application and all those things for him to be able to get this high standard graduate with the highest standard, and he was just reeling A's, B's, and he said this was a guy that never had a bad day at school. He never got B's, never got C's. D's, mm-mm. And failure just wasn't on the bus. So he said, that's how you know that freak is telling a lie. And he's constantly telling lies. He never stopped. So all these things, and Mr. Jackson, apparently he said that Mr. Jackson was the one that facilitated them through Rainbow Push. He paid all these monies to integrate them in America, for them to topple America. Why would he want to topple his home? Why would he do this? You know the funniest thing? There's nothing like an angry old man. If you meet a man and he's angry, don't do business with him. Don't associate yourself with him. He must go and give his and deal with his mother and return his mother's spirit before you have anything to do with him. And it doesn't matter how old they are. You can say, oh, but he's 80. Do you think he's still having his mother on his back? Of course. If one hijacked their mother's spirit and he got away with everything, and when he was going to hear no, he would pay, and he can accept the disaster that run within his life from this behavior, he could die with it. So I always say to my friends, if you go on a date and this person is angry, it's over. It's game's over, because he won't even listen to you that he has any problems, because it's going to be constantly, you are the reason why he's angry. You are the reason why I have to beat you. You are the reason. So don't. And when they get to a certain age and they're old and angry, it's it's like a bad, evil situation. And because they could not have done nothing without the funds of this man that sponsored them. Because the Syrian guy told me that Harris was a fugitive in Syria. He was constantly going in and out of prison when he was sponsored by Rainbow Push, right? So now you can understand why she's so happy to let criminal in at the border. So everything just adds right up. And Jose and the homeless guy said that what is shocking, and the other guys concur, they say, how can the Republican Party accept running against a failed administration? They should never have accepted it. They should never have debated it. It's failed. They should have asked for fresh blood at the table. And the reason for this is, when you win strong, you'll finish strong. Because this situation, it is very clear who the winner should be. And what the homeless guy just said to us was that those old ladies that vote for Mr. Biden, they're all going to vote for Mr. Trump after the second assassination attempt. Of course, they were in shock with the first, but the second one solidified their vote. They said they want nothing to do with the Democratic Party. And why would all of them say this? They say Harris will not get one vote from them. And these people, we're talking about millions of these girls that they vote for Biden out of sympathy. They feel sorry for him, his wife. They think, oh, the poor thing is not getting enough love. So they go out and vote for him because he has conjured their sympathy over the years. And they were the one that constantly voted for him. So they will not be voting for Harris. And he said, the homeless guy said, they don't think anybody will vote for her. And Jose said, every vote that will be given to Harris is from the lab, and already she has 35 million votes. And she also have military profile. They are dead people. Out of this vote, he said that he saw dead cemetery record from all the popular names you can think of, even Arlington Cemetery with these military guys, dead people voted for her on these files that she has. So her little confidence that she has there, it's just crap. Because they remove a sick horse and they replace the horse with a dead one. A dead administration. And the fact the homeless guy, especially the Jamaican guy with the disrespect, he said that Miss Harris looked in the camera and told everyone that they should move beyond the fail projects, all these administrative blunders, things that did not work, and let us move forward into new things that you can implement and see if those work. So she's just operating constantly on trial and error. She said, let us get rid of the one that I did not do, I did not care to do. My boss gave me instructions that I was supposed to do this, undertake this. I told him yes, and I ignored the whole thing. I think she's like that postman that leaves the post office to deliver the mail, and halfway away he would burn them and take a long lunch or breakfast and return to the office. So I think that's what she did. She hop, skip, and jump up the staircase of Air Force Two. She burned taxpayers' money going around doing damn foolishness because she could have conducted most of the business via the computer, because why bother to run up all that airtime, security personnel? Her visits probably run in the millions to go and do bullshit, really. Taxpayers' money, that money could go to help the veterans that are living rough on the street. Instead, she's hop, skipping, and jumping, and oh, those girls came with me on Air Force Two, and blah blah. I can understand why she will do everything to keep this lifestyle, the free flights, the this and that. Miss Harris, take your final flight and go somewhere very far. Go back to Syria and sit in the dark for a while and become one with yourself. Welcome peace in your life, because I believe you've been tortured by a lot of dead people, that you have hurt these people and they're torturing you right now. I think you're a haunted person. I think you're haunted. I don't think it's, people say you're evil, but I think it's haunt. I think it is haunts. You've been haunted. I'm thinking of maybe in the millions of these spirits that they come and they want answers. Oh my goodness. Well, the homeless guy said that she will not get any of Biden's vote because these people they don't want anything to do with Harris. What she did to Biden, it's like she want to to remove his manhood in front of the world. She want to topple his legacy. Well, she did. She toppled it. And as the guy said that Harris is a the guy said that Harris is a black widow. And he said that in on one hand Mr. Biden deserved what he got, and on the other hand, no one deserved that kind of evil because he draped her up and put her on a pedestal just because she said she was black and he wanted a black person. Not because of her qualifications, because if she was qualified, she would have undertaken those responsibility that was delegated to her. But she had no idea how to do it, so she said yes to her boss and flushed the documents, I'm sure. Yeah. They say when she goes to the toilet, she used it in there after her boss gave her instructions to go administer on these projects. She did nothing of the sort. She tore them up like the postman that never rings. Oh my goodness, it's funny. Hmm, it is so funny. But the good news is, it doesn't matter where you are, even if you're under a rock, if the dollar plunged to 5 cents, the people, these billionaires that are giving her money, I guess maybe they're giving her monies to get out of Dodge. Because, as what these guys said, that she understood that the more money she gets for her campaign, that will be the monies that she will be allowed to leave the White House with. So, on one hand, it's almost like she's gathering her coins because she knows the hurricane is coming. So she's gathering up all the coins like the squirrel and saving it for winter. So, okay, in that logic, I said, okay, let her collect some money so she can leave and sunset herself, right? And that was funny when he said the 4 years when Trump was in office, Obama would go to the White House at night and just stare at the White House from the gate. Of course, he's wearing a hoodie, and he would just put his nose on the gate and just stare at the White House. He has a problem, they say. He needs to get some psychological help. Yeah, he needs to get help. He's obsessed with the White House, and I don't think he cannot go very far from the White House for a long period of time. He has to be in the area. He has to constantly jettison himself. I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? Okay, based on all the information that I have been given, I think it is fair to ask for a court hearing in the case of the DNA and put it to rest. No one is above the law. Mr. Trump had to go to court. So I'm sure Miss Harris understands that she too need to give us an answer as to why on earth half of her face looked like one person and the other half does not look like that person. Plus, The allegations about her, on a serious note, the DNA test. They are calling for a DNA test, and it's warranted based on their evidence and logics. Okay, Jose and the gang, my crew, we had to have a discussion, like a banter kind of thing, where we addressed the last interview with Harris and Oprah. And what was shocking when Isabel said that housewives around the world supported Oprah when she had her talk show, and it was entertaining and it was professionally done, and no one cared about the color of her skin and that she looked like a hippopotamus. And it they dressed her up and presented her, and it was okay. And okay, every time you speak of her, they say she walked away with $4 billion. It's never 3.9. It's never 4.1. It's just this damn 4 billion, which is just upheaval, stupid. And technically today, the dollar probably is puffed up, but valued at $70. 70 cents, sorry. Valued at 70 cents. Okay? Oh, from our chair to yours. You should be taking extra care and be concerned because when the dollar plunges to 5 cents, you might be lucky if you're still sitting on the head of the middle class. You will never be able to borrow your way out of it, especially because you have proven to be ungrateful to all the people who've been kind to you over the years. And you're now riding on this racist train, but you can't get enough of this poison that you've been riding. Everything is some racist this, racist that. No one wants to hear you, Oprah. And when it plunges, you won't recover. So you can sit and encourage nasty because it will become you later on. And the birds will be coming home to roost. You would have received your karma, your well deserved karma, because you have hurt so many people and destroyed their lives. So I would advise you to proceed with caution and take care of your dollar. You cannot afford to lose a penny. Just take a look in the mirror, you'll never recover. My God. Ew. Eek. Okay, 70 cents. So technically her 4 billion, if we're going to do a hit on the bank, she probably would have had a run of 180, 1.8 billion, more or less, if she's lucky. If she's lucky. So she, more than anyone else, should be playing a better game of chess, right? She interviewed a woman that has a failed administration. The only advice for her is go away, and tried to fluff her up. Oh, Mr. Biden resigned, and you just, it's like there's this puff of genius over you. You just come alive. Like, where were you all the time? And she's like, Miss Harris is like, oh, I, what can I say? We bullshit, okay? Bullshit. If she had genius inside of her, she would have executed on the projects that she was told to do, that she had no idea how to do it. Melissa is such a darling. Melissa said that when she's hop, skipping, and jumping up Air Force One, if she's such a girl, she's trying to be girly, but because she's a man, it doesn't come through. Oh, Harris, you need real girls to be girly. Yes, darling. And I must say, the the views of these men, as the Jamaican said, that he presented his case and he will go to court to defend his case. And he and all the other men, because by now he convinced them, they convinced each other, it's across the board understanding about their views, their take on things, and they're in harmony with all their ideas and what happened to them. And they experience these things in the same foxhole, right? So um he needs to be challenged. He wants to go to court because he needs a DNA test from you, and he needs an apology for the disrespect of the Jamaican man that you called basically deadbeat deadbeat dad or whatever. And Miss Harris, they would like to ask you, why is it your side profile looks so different from your frontal? Your side profile look like an angry man, and your front profile slightly, you tried to look like Kamala Harris with the front. It didn't work. Even your eye expression, when you move your eyes, it's not Kamala. Okay? And I must tell you, Jose said that he is going through the file with the likeness identity transformation software. And he said that he has seen a lot of your cousins, brothers, sisters, uncles that's been transformed and now living well in the West. It will be in his movie, he said. I was not privy to it. I don't want to see it. I want to go to the theater and have a look. Yeah. You see, Miss Harris, you cannot do those things and get away with it, especially what you have done to children. That is beyond. The harm that has, I mean, a little kid is not safe with you in the White House. And you'll do everything to keep the White House. You think it belongs to you. And I understand. The life is great. You're not qualified. You got lucky. You could not believe your luck. The guys, they say, the Syrians said that they have pictures. His brother had pictures with you and your brother and other family member at the refugee camp. They have pictures that will be coming out in the movie. Okay, so you got lucky. You got lucky, really. Can you imagine you're walking down the street and a car pulled up and it's Joe Biden and he asks you, do you want to become the vice president? Just like, it's like that, really. It's like that. You got lucky. I don't even think it was luck because Jose saw a letter where you blackmailed him. You had some thing on him and you told if you don't get this position, you're going to expose him. So I don't know if it was even luck. And then when you arrive in there, the man started moving slowly, and the homeless guy said that you are a black widow. So there you have it. There you have it. And before you walk away, you doubled down and you got greedy. Not before you could have done this without getting these men to come to the border. You could have done it because the software that you have that's that can steal the election. You did not need human numbers at the border to do this. So I don't understand the logics. Jose doesn't understand the logics. Why you would want them to come to get physical vote when these people has to be fed, they need to be clothed, they need to have a place to sleep, right? The logistical maneuverism does not make sense. Of course, you're not an educated person, but still, in practicality, you have to know that moving humans, moving people, the housing, the food, you you have to know, even if you live under a rock, that this must become a concern. First of all, it was difficult to get them on a flight. You have to process their papers, their passport, then you pay their airfare. Even at that time, you weren't thinking the human cost is going to be too much. You have accidents, you have cost of like criminality, like rape, like housing, like food, like clothes, like health. They get sick. I tell you, Miss Harris, even the old time slavery system seems like a dream in comparison to this, because in history, when we were reading about the coast and all those things, it seems like it was a dream compared to this border, modern day border thing that you did. Technically, it is slavery, but it's ick, eh? You need to learn from those boys from the old guard of the 1500s and those things. Yeah, maybe if you could read, you'd have done that. Go and read some book and before you implement this, and then it probably would change your mind when you've read the the cost, the human cost or other cost of doing this. And you're free. The boys are ready to go to court to challenge their case. So they have proof. They said they're not accusing you of anything. And the only case of deception is through discovery by you coming with your DNA results, DNA test. And this has to be done in a very independent arena for it to be considered valid. Because you are not Kamala Harris. Can you see how when you're going up those stairs of Air Force Two, that you have this broad back? It is so broad that I've never seen a woman with back that broad. Even men, their back not so broad, and they're taller than you are. You said that you're 5'8" because you're trying to be Kamala. But looking at you, I don't even think you're over 5'1". And to be honest, we were discussing it that the best thing for you to do is what you've done in terms of turn yourself into a girl. Not exactly Kamala, but a girl, because you were 5 feet. A man at 5 feet is going to be kicked around, and you would have gotten no self respect as a man at 5 feet. Even if you have a big dick, still you would never get the respect a guy at 6'5" or 6 feet command. So that is an okay outlet. We agree with the outlet. We just don't agree with what you've done to get it, because you could have transformed yourself into a girl without any human cost. Yes, you could have, but you want the status and you want the life and you want her bank account. Yeah, and you want her education. So that's what you've done. You have savagely murdered Kamala Harris. And until we're given proof from your side, this is the logics, and it makes sense because everybody knows what Kamala Harris looks like. And you have no right bracing yourself on the Jamaican people and disrespecting men. You cross the line when you have crossed over into this, once again, a savage attack on men in general. Plus, as the Jamaican boy said, the Jamaican man. Okay, part 4. Oh, Miss Harris, we continue to discuss the situation. As Florida buckled down and received the hurricane, you were busy dining on a 5-star situation, collecting your nuts like a squirrel, preparing for winter. Huh? That's admirable. Yes, it is. No question. Because you see, Miss Harris, your administration has replaced a sick horse, a horse that you and your brother had made very sick. Yes, as the homeless guy said, Mr. Baidu was in the way of the black widows. Yeah. So, you wanted the world to see him as a demented old carcass, and you were overwhelmed by all this, and you tried your best to keep it together behind the scenes, but it was too much. It was too much. But there's a rumor that said that you have tried to encourage him to kill himself. That's what the homeless guy said. And he refused to do it. So, and you have replaced the sick horse. And technically, you're a non starter because the administration is failed and it's dead. It's a dead administration. But you're hopping around with such confidence because you think your election software will save you. But Jose said to tell you one word. he said. Tell Miss Harris this word, and it's Halloween, he said. Yeah, that word. Halloween. Hmm? Now, I don't know the meaning of it, but he said that you would know the meaning of what Halloween means. Hey, I don't know the meaning. I told him to surprise me in the movie. I like the surprise. I don't want too much information. You see, because I'm a storyteller, so I like to live on the edge. I like to be governed with suspense and intrigued and be entertained by the best of them, the worst of them. I like it. I love this magic carpet experience that the guys from the border will take us on a magic carpet ride. And you know what? They want it to be funny. And I remember initially, I asked them if it was okay for us to laugh if something appeared to be funny, especially when they said they hid in the bushes for a few days. And Jose is a black belt. He's very high ranked in martial arts, and you could use your imagination, and it would be funny. And they all wanted us to enjoy funny when it's funny, because now they're at that place where they can laugh about it. So I think the movie is going to be. I don't know if I could afford to be the director, I would. But still, even if I could afford it, I don't know anything about directing a movie. So, you see, I don't know nothing about the industry. And he's talking to somebody that he said is going to come about. So, I can't wait. I think there's one thing still that puzzled us, and that is the exodus to the border. Why would you do this when you have that software to steal the election, anyways? Yeah, I know you wanted a decoy situation and you wanted chaos and you wanted confusion, but this kind of chaos, I wouldn't want it. Do you understand? If I have the software, it has to be something else. This is just crazy. It's off the chain crazy, and the Syrian said that you are avenging your brother's death. That's what he said. You and your Obama are avenging your brother's death. I don't know. That was his final word, and he need to have a word with you guys, or he's going to say more things in the movie. He said, and I can't wait to hear it. I'm here for it. Miss Harris, we would like to tell you here, the crew, both the guys from the border and my crew, on behalf of us and the US dollar, of course, because that is top priority for us. There's no way the US dollar will move forward with your administration. It's dead, and the only place for it is in the garbage. And it doesn't matter how loyal we are, we've had enough. The cost, the human cost, the new channels for poverty every day, the death of a kid. For me, that is non negotiable because children are the future. And I was always told that you should always be kind to children, and when they're kind to you, you should be grateful. When a child is kind to you, like offer his corns to you, you should say thank you and take it. And say thank you, welcome. Not hurt them and harm them and maim them. And who are you? Think that it's okay to do these things. The US dollar cannot afford to move forward with a dead administration. And I think globally, we will have to join together and agree to this, that globally we deserve some respect for our dollar. And we're not going to be walking around with toilet paper as our currency anymore. You just refuse to walk away. Even if this meant the death of the Democratic Party, you're willing to do this, knowing full well you're not qualified and you should walk away. And people allow you to do it. I don't understand. The Democratic Party allow you to put the final nail in the casket. Because even if you would win the election, the cost is going to be America will lose the US dollar as a global status because countries will now step up and manage their own currency, which is good, right? And I think the ultimate thing is to expel all the US embassies and send them home. They're unnecessary, they're obsolete. With the age of computer, you can get a visa in seconds. There's no need for embassies. So we give back the US dollars and we return the embassies. And US can stay there and take care of their own affair and it will become none of our business anymore. The honor in the situation is you resign and walk away. You're not qualified. Your administration has failed. The Democratic Party needs to regroup. They need to reorganize. They need to get new people. They need to get fresh blood moving forward. Okay? And the Republican should never have accepted a debate with a failed administration. What are you debating? It's like chopping off your legs because you don't like it anymore. It's or like a snake that just sits and start eating its tail. Why would Mr. Trump agree to a debate like that? This is just unbelievable. And I'm hopeful that November 5th will come very soon and pass. Because globally we cannot take anymore. It wears you thin. It's too much. It's it's just we don't want to hear it anymore. We want to move on because this does not make sense. You are so kamikaze that you're willing to destroy the Democratic Party, knowing full well that you're not going to get very far. You're not qualified, and you're using the fact that you have this software to to hold people off because they think, okay, yes, it's a sure win. She can win because she had let's leave her in there, you know. At least we can get some fluff while she's in there, fluff and buff and whatever. Well, Jose, I have one word for you, Miss Harris. Halloween. He said you should think about that. I rest my case. Girls, the situation is unanimous because we could not end this our take on the documentary unless we discuss this first black president, first black male president, first black female president. What is the purpose of it? Because clearly, Mr. Biden, who wanted a black vice president, brought in the black widow that subsequently almost killed him. So, isn't it clear that it's best you appoint someone to whom is actually qualified to undertake and execute their responsibility? But I think good old Biden, he's coming from a vice presidency chair as well, and he too was not qualified for anything. Because if he was, he would never have appointed this Harris to do anything, because he would have known that she's going to be unable to do it because she's not qualified. And to think, talk about a sting in the tail, to think that you gave her the starlight, you put the spotlight on her, you pump her up because you want to flex. You're the first president that appoint a black female vice president. Of course, the guys said that she's not black, but okay, she told you she was black and you believe it. Or she is black and you believe it, whichever the case may be, right? And like a scorpion that will always deliver the bacon, she strike like the mighty scorpion that it is with the tail and almost take you out, Mr. Biden. I guess you too have outdone yourself because you did it just because of ego and because you wanted to flex. You wanted to flex. That's the two reasons why you made that decision that subsequently cost you your reputation, your legacy, everything, and your health. Above all, your health. Just because you wanted the first black female vice president. Congratulations, Mr. Biden. You have outdone yourself. Marianne, Melissa, Darlene, Isabel, and Isabella, the writing is on the wall. In conclusion, isn't it clear that since the occurrence of the hurricane and the devastation that governed the situation, it is evident that A woman is unable to govern and to rule and to undertake such a mammoth task. It can only be done by alphas. It is very clear. Kamala Harris, resign, walk away. I don't care what you do. Go away. Ask the Democrat to get another person to join Tim or replace both of you because on a technical ground, we believe Tim too. He is not qualified for this job. If you can actually look at this situation and you can go forth to November 5th, still in your mind that you're able to be the president, I don't know, the president of what, maybe Arlington Cemetery? Because everything around you is death, destruction, and mayhem. So I think we are going to give you the title of the first female black president of Arlington Cemetery. Congratulations, Miss Kamala Harris. You too have outdone yourself. Greed has become you. And I tell you, I am an admirable person. I just love the seven deadly sins. It is so true. Greed and hatred has become you. So you're free. I think they have an office at Arlington. You can take your position immediately. You don't have to wait until 2025, January 20th. You can go immediately to Arlington, I'm sure, and start governing. Why wait, Miss Harris? Why wait? We rest our case. At the US border. Shocking. Shocking what happened to the people. This is what happens when people are desperate. Let us have a moment of silence for this situation. And I hope, I hope that the men will come together and join forces globally. Men globally should join forces and repair the global damage. That's the only thing I can say. Because if the men are good and happy and have money, the women go shopping. We're fine. Right? We just go shopping. It's okay. We're girls. We're girls. We need to be loved and taken care of. But the men can't love you and take care of you if they have no money or they have no means. So I just love the concept, the constitution of men. It's so beautiful. Right, girls? We just love men. Everything about them is perfect. Men. Yeah, that masculinity. Ugh, I love men. And when they're good, life gets better. We love you, boys. Yeah. In conclusion, girls, the final point is the border. Shocking. Our prisoners there. There are all walks of life there. But there are the genuine poor, well, I would say destitute, that arrive there. They don't need plenty. They just needed a little bit. They're not greedy, they're desperate. Desperate people. And when he wanted to go back home, he said, I don't want to be here. I want to go back home to my family. So I'm sure if Mr. Trump goes in as the next president, which I believe he should because he's the best boy based on what we have looked at to deal with the situation. The situation now needs a powerful individual. It needs an alpha male, a strong man to deal with this. A woman cannot carry this weight. It cannot be done by a girl. I am a girl and I couldn't do it. It cannot be done by a girl. It needs the power of a man. The universe will guide this man into the right order because a man is governed by alpha. And this situation, this global crisis needs an alpha. The universe will work with an alpha. It will not work with a female because a female is not a leader. Females are not leaders. It will not work. It will wind up in further ruins. Some I have investigated, and based on my investigation, I have reported from it, and I hope I've done a good job. Marianne, Isabel, and Isabella, you both live in Manhattan. What do you guys the think about all this? I mean, you guys are devastated, of course, and speechless in shock. Let's have a moment of silence for peace. Thank you. And above all, girls, we must thank Master of Ceremony, the Honorable Jason. He's very happy with the report today. And I think his financial education and our path is just amazing. Thanks, Jason, for being here. I know soon you'll be back at school, but you can pop in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes when you can. You're so lovely. Honorable Jason, it's just cash. It's all about the cash. We really, globally, we don't care about anything but the cash, okay? It's all about the money. Who can we trust to handle our money? That's it. It's all about the money. It's all about the show. It's all about the money till the deal is done, okay? Cash talking keeps the trade alive. I hope I did a good job with this topic, girls. They're number one on the ticket. I love to love you, baby. I am Dr. Barr. We'll be again.